Lean Six Sigma Control Phase. Comprehensive content. 1. Standard Operating Procedures. SOPs. Sustaining the new way. This slide explains why Standard Operating Procedures, or SOPs, are essential when a process improves. Verbal instructions aren't enough. New processes need to be documented and shared clearly, so everyone follows the same steps. If SOPs aren't updated, employees might fall back into old habits, which can undo improvements over time. Two key elements of an effective SOP are step-by-step instructions. They ensure clarity and focus on action. Roles and responsibilities. They define who is responsible for each task, reducing confusion. This example comes from a manufacturing setting. A factory reduced paint defects by introducing a pre-cleaning step. But the key wasn't just adding the step, it was updating the SOP in the control phase to include that step and a checklist, making it mandatory. If the SOP isn't updated, new operators may skip the cleaning, and defects will quietly return. This reinforces why SOPs need to be living documents, kept current to lock in improvements. This example shows how a customer service team improved resolution speed by changing how tickets were routed. But improvement isn't enough. During the control phase, the team must update the SOP to reflect the new routing rules, steps, and responsibilities. If they skip this step, staff might unknowingly follow the old process, and the resolution times will worsen again. To engage your audience, ask, have you seen a situation where improvements failed because old instructions were still in place? This helps reinforce the real-world impact of not updating SOPs. Second, training, competence, and handover to process owners. Process improvement alone isn't enough. People must be trained to sustain it. In the control phase, we focus on equipping process owners by training them on new SOPs, process updates, and monitoring methods. We also verify their readiness through tests or sign-offs, and clarify who will maintain control charts and track metrics. This way, we reduce long-term dependency on the project team and build ownership in operations. In both manufacturing and service environments, training during the control phase is essential. In the manufacturing example, training all shifts on the optimized machine setup, with skills checks and certification, led to a 50% drop in defects. In the service example, underwriters and support staff were trained on a new checklist using quizzes to ensure understanding, preventing missed documents. These actions lock in improvements and build long-term consistency. Let's walk through the key actions for effective training implementation. First, ensure your training matrix clearly outlines who needs to be trained, on what, and when. This helps with planning and tracking. Second, it's crucial to validate knowledge. This could be through a test or a hands-on practical demonstration to make sure the learning is applied. And finally, always document both attendance and competence to maintain compliance and ensure readiness. As shown in the example below, our shift supervisor is being trained on the new inspection SOP conducted by the QA manager with a target completion date of May 10, 2025. Since certification is required, we'll need to follow up with appropriate validation and documentation. Remember this insight. Training isn't just telling. It's proving people are able and ready to sustain the new process. That mindset is key to ensuring lasting results and a successful implementation. 3. Visual Management and Error Proofing, Poka-Yoke. Let's talk about visual management. This approach is all about making key process information instantly visible. When operators can see what's happening at a glance, they don't have to rely on memory or detailed reports to stay aligned. It improves real-time decision-making and keeps the whole team on the same page. Now, let's connect that to error proofing. The goal here is to prevent errors rather than detect them after they've already caused issues. If we can design systems that make mistakes hard or even impossible to make, we save time, reduce waste, and improve quality. Here are some examples of visual management tools. Daily defect count scoreboards help teams track progress and spot trends. Color-coded labels indicate inspection status clearly. Green means passed, red means rejected. Shadow boards ensure tools are always in the right place and easy to find. And Kanban boards are great for visualizing workflow and work-in-progress WIP status. These tools create a more controlled and error-resistant environment. Now, let's look at some practical examples of visual management and error proofing in action, both in manufacturing and service environments. In manufacturing, one great example is the use of torque indicator lights. If a bolt isn't tightened to the correct torque, the light flashes red. That visual cue tells the operator immediately that something needs to be fixed before moving on. This not only prevents defects, but also ensures safety and quality. Another example is in the paint booth, where a digital sign shows the live defect count. This keeps everyone informed in real time and promotes a culture of awareness and accountability. In service settings, a good example is the customer complaint dashboard. It's projected in the call center and uses a color-coded system, green, yellow, red, to show the volume of complaints. This lets the team know when they're in a safe zone or when action is needed. Lastly, the IT ticketing system has a smart error-proofing feature. It won't let users submit a form if required fields are left blank. That small step prevents delays and ensures all necessary information is captured up front. Each of these examples shows how simple visual tools can make a big impact in reducing errors and improving process reliability. Control phase equals make the right thing the easy, visible, obvious thing. Fourth, process monitoring plan. Control plan. Let's talk about the control plan. This is a critical tool that ensures our improvements are sustained over time. Think of it as the playbook that process owners follow once the project team hands over control. It's not just about making improvements, it's about maintaining them. As the quote says, it ensures we don't just improve, we stay improved. Now, what should a control plan include? There are 6 key elements. What metrics to monitor, so we know which aspects of the process are critical. How often to check. Regular reviews help catch issues early. Control methods, such as charts, reports, and inspections that help us track performance. Acceptable limits. We need clear thresholds to know when a process is drifting. Who checks and records? Responsibilities must be clearly assigned. What to do if things go out of control? Predefined actions ensure quick response and correction. Having all of these elements in place helps ensure the process stays on track and continues delivering the intended results long after the initial improvement work is complete. Here are 2 practical examples of how a control plan is applied in both manufacturing and service environments. Starting with manufacturing, let's look at the characteristic fill volume. This is monitored using an XR chart, a statistical tool used to track variation over time. The check is done hourly and the operator is responsible for it. If the volume falls outside acceptable limits, the reaction plan is to stop the line and recalibrate the filler immediately. This ensures that issues are caught early and don't lead to wasted product or rework. Now, in a service setting, we track call wait time. Here, a dashboard is used as the control method, also monitored hourly. The supervisor is responsible for reviewing it. If the wait times exceed acceptable levels, the reaction plan includes adding staff or escalating the issue to the manager to restore performance quickly. These examples show how control plans aren't just theoretical. They are real tools that drive action, accountability, and consistency in both production and service environments. In the control phase of a project, it's easy to think the job is done once improvements are made. But sustainable success depends on what happens after the project closes. The key benefit of a control plan is that it ensures continued oversight. Someone is actively monitoring the metrics or watching the gauges every single day. It turns short-term gains into long-term results by embedding accountability and visibility into daily operations rather than letting things slip once the spotlight is off. 5. Response and escalation plan. This slide focuses on the importance of having a clear and well-defined response plan when a process goes out of control. Without it, things can quickly spiral into chaos. To manage this effectively, we need to define 4 key things. Triggers for action. What specific condition or value signals that action is needed? Immediate actions. What steps should be taken right away? Escalation steps. Who do we involve if the issue isn't resolved quickly? Roles and responsibilities. Who is accountable at each step? Let's look at a manufacturing example. If the defect rate exceeds 5% per hour, that's our trigger. The action plan is stop production immediately to prevent further defects. The operator checks the machine settings to identify any quick fixes. If it's not resolved within 15 minutes, maintenance is notified. If it's still not resolved after that, the issue is escalated to the QA manager. This kind of structured approach ensures fast response, limits impact, and keeps the process under control. This slide presents a service example of how a defined response plan helps manage issues efficiently. Let's say more than 20 complaints are received in a single day. This is our trigger to act. The response plan kicks in with the following steps. The supervisor reviews the complaint log to understand the root cause. A rapid response is assigned to address the issue quickly. If the problem is still unresolved within 24 hours, it is escalated to the director for higher-level intervention. Also, note the tip highlighted here. Using flowcharts can be incredibly helpful in visualizing these response steps. They clarify the path and responsibilities, ensuring no step is missed under pressure. And the key message to take away is, a strong response plan leads to faster recovery and less firefighting. When everyone knows exactly what to do and when, we reduce chaos and handle issues with speed and confidence. 6. Auditing and verification. This slide focuses on the importance of internal audits during the control phase. Audits are key to verifying that improvements are sustained and that teams are truly following the new process. Here's what audits help us confirm. The new process is being followed as designed. New standards are actively in use. Improvements are holding over time, not slipping back. Most importantly, process owners are truly owning their control plans. As the quote says, "It's not a one-time check. Auditing keeps us honest over time. It reinforces accountability and continuous improvement." Let's look at two examples. In manufacturing, a monthly random audit of 10 batches helps verify things like torque settings, inspection records, and scrap logs. These are indicators of consistent quality control. In service, a quarterly audit of 30 random claims ensures teams are following a checklist, and Gemba walks let leaders. 7. Project closure and lessons learned. This slide is about how the control phase officially closes a project. Closure isn't just a formality, it's a structured process that ensures improvements are locked in and that others can learn from the work done. We close the project by documenting the improvements achieved to create a reference for future projects, sharing lessons learned, both what worked and what didn't, to help future teams avoid the same mistakes, identifying risks for sustainability so the team knows what could threaten the improvement and can plan to address it, highlighting opportunities for replication. If this solution worked here, where else can it be applied? The quote sums it up well. Closure isn't just a report, it's sharing what worked, what didn't, and how to scale success. This mindset ensures that the value of the project extends beyond its original scope. This slide outlines what should be included in the closure report, which is a key deliverable in the control phase. The report has 4 key sections. Problem solved. Clearly state the issue addressed. For example, here the team reduced wait time from 20 days to just 7 days. Impact. Quantify the benefit. In this case, the project delivered a $250,000 annual saving and improved the Net Promoter Score by 10 points, showing both financial and customer experience gains. Lessons learned. Capture insights for future projects. Here, the takeaway was that early training led to better adoption, a lesson that can be applied across initiatives. Replication opportunities. Identify where this success can be repeated. For instance, applying the same workflow to other product lines to multiply the benefit. Final message. Often, teams view the control phase as the final checkbox in a project. But in reality, it's not the end. It's a new beginning. The control phase is where we lock in the gains and shift from one-time improvement to sustained performance. It's about making the improved process the new normal, embedding it into the culture and daily routines. Think of it not as closing the book, but as starting a new chapter, where better becomes business as usual.